The book called The Game.
Yeah, Daniel Strauss. Neil Strauss. Yeah.
Are we ready, boys?
I'm not gonna mention it here though.
It's a bit haram.
We ready?
Yeah, ready.
We'll talk about that.
We're talking
afterwards.
about
But that's what thinking.
Well, I'm thinking about writing a halal one about Morocco.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of Fitpod, where I bring you motivational stories and inspiring people. Today in the studio, I have a real deal treat for you. First of all, Adam, who's already been in the studio. Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
And the main event today from Apprentice, Mr. Asif Munaf. How are you, bro?
I'm very well. Assalamu alaikum, Nasser. Thank you for having me. Great setup. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm pleased you took your time out and you've come down. And, hope this is a very educational episode today.
I mean, you can bribe me with good coffee. You did that today.
Yeah, well, it was his idea. I was going to get some sugar put into that, but...
I would have walked back to Sheffield.
to burn it off. But no, thank you very much for coming in. We've got a lot to talk about. Fitness, your journey as a doctor, your apprentice, your Dragon's Den. Then we've got Adam here. We're going to talk about Ramadan and fitness and how to do a lot of things in Ramadan based on fitness. So can I first say, it's my honor to be hosted by you, but also an honor to be, sharing a seat with Adam. Adam's a legend in the game, alhamdulillah. Honestly, seriously, he's a legend in the game, and my first time I've done a duet and none other than Adam, so alhamdulillah. Oh, that's a good one. I thought you've done it before.
No, I don't think I've done one. No, my first time.
No, we've done a podcast together.
Yeah,
but not three.
Yeah.
Right. So this is going to be a very good conversation, then a three-way conversation.
Exactly.
So I want to start off with first question. It's going to be based around. I've already got clarification from Adam for this question. Right. It's based on Apprentice.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's So, what made you start clapping in that boardroom?
Right.
Because I was like, no. Did he just start clapping? I was listening to my missus. Did he just start clapping? They haven't even finished yet.
I know. I prematurely clapped because I thought we had won. I miscalculated the 52% refunds being deducted from the overall amount the client had spent. So I thought our profit would have been 300, I believe.
Yeah.
52% of 600.
Yeah.
So that made us winners compared to the girls. But I didn't let him finish the second half of that sentence. A lesson in business. So, don't always put the first deal. Let the person finish first.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel at that point? You must have thought, oh shit, what have I just done?
I'm like, I hope that's not going to be aired. Because I knew it's got captured, right? There's literally 8 cameras in the boardroom. Everything gets, even, the hair moving on your beard gets captured. It's such,
Really?
You know about studios and, 6K, 8K cameras. They're just ridiculously sharp. So I knew everything gets captured. It's 100 hours of footage for 1 hour episode. But I'm like, I was praying that didn't make it to the final edit. It did. And I literally woke up the next day. We had an apprentice group, all the chat amongst the 18 candidates. And they're like, Asif, you're going viral, you're going viral. I'm going viral probably because my suit's nice or my tie was nice.
No.
I'm going viral for the wrong reasons. And someone actually commented on my Instagram post, this brother would clap at his own funeral.
Oh, ouch.
And I did only when that dropped. I'm like, bloody hell, it was actually a big deal that I clapped.
Yeah.
Because, I thought I got to be excited. And
I said to when Adam said, look, would you like Asif to come on? I says, yeah, make it happen, man. Do it. And I told my nieces that, look, I've got Asif coming on. And my first question, I don't care. My first question is going to be about the clapping. I don't care if they got, no, that's not nice. Don't do that. I says, look, honestly, it'd be a good icebreaker, and because it's going to be a long conversation.
Yeah. It's a good icebreaker. Literally, I was out in Manchester yesterday and people coming up to me and asking about the clapping. That's all they ask about, it's become, I've become renowned for that now.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm glad it got captured because it shows, we're humans. We can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And in a serious business show, the human element came out there.
Yeah.
I think there's every cloud has a silver lining. I think it was a good thing that happened, because, well, Asif handled it brilliantly. I saw he shared those clips on Instagram, and I saw them going viral. Like, he shared it and he's joking about it, he's laughing it, he's doing a thumbs up, and other people are saying all these negative stuff, and he's just liking their comments and stuff, and that made it go viral, and then it became a superstar.
Asif Munaf. That's when he became Asif Munaf.
So every cloud has a silver lining, and
absolutely.
that eventually ended up being the silver lining.
It's how you take it, isn't it? You sometimes just gotta take it on the chin and think, okay, it's done. It's out there now.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna try and defend it. Yeah, all right. It was a bit too forward, but it is what it is. It made a mistake.
It was a brilliant outcome in the end.
Yeah.
Brilliant outcome in the end. And there's another clip as well, I think you did. It's because the way you handled it, I think the outcome was positive.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's also a lesson in sometimes, especially all three of us, we're in the fitness industry ourselves, we work out, we take ourselves very seriously. It's sometimes good to just not take yourself too seriously at times and say, we're humans, we make mistakes. We're happy with our children. We have downtime and pretend to be, a dinosaur, or pretend pretend to be, role playing with children.
Yeah.
You're probably having it now as well. So
absolutely. Every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just the best thing until your knees start hurting and you think, okay, I need to get up now.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
This kid can freaking do this all day long.
Exactly.
I can't.
Yeah. Online, right, you get a lot of hate. Soon as you, there's a saying by Dan Kennedy, right, really famous marketer. He says, if you haven't offended somebody by noon every single day, then you're not marketing hard enough.
That's a bloody good one,
Yeah.
I'm good at offending people. I always try to keep myself to myself, but I'm going to take that up. And by 12 o'clock, I need somebody offended.
If it means you're not getting big enough reach. Once you get a reach big enough, you'll offend people by breathing.
Yeah.
Just your existence is going to offend some people as soon as you get that bigger reach. So again, if you get when people are getting offended and you're not actually going out of your way to offend people, right, then that means your reach is expanding. So that's actually a good sign.
Yeah. Asif, tell me a bit about the restrictions that you have in Apprentice, because I've heard a lot about you can't do this, you can't do that, you can only, especially when they go to make, like, say, logos and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they can only use certain colors or certain fonts. Because that just makes everything look dumb, and you think that person can't be that dumb. You can't be that stupid. Look, it looks shit.
Yeah. So I think it's a very good question, because that is true. So you've got restrictions, and that's part of the production process. You can't pick certain names because of trademark, or because,
which is understandable. Yeah.
Or the other teams using it, but the color palette is restricted. The typography is restricted. So you end up with random animals and shapes and sizes which look very childish. Yeah. But that's because you're on time constraints, and you actually don't spend much time designing. You're stopping and starting, retaking scenes. The time with the graphic design is very limited, and there's a lot of people speaking at once. Everyone's trying to get their say in, because the one thing Lord Sugar doesn't like is people not contributing, because that could get you fired.
Yeah.
So you're trying to toe the line very carefully, as in not to be a disruptor, but at the same time not to be seen as being quiet and in the background. So you give your two pence, and everyone's doing it. So you got 9 girls and 9 guys, and you got 2 sub teams. Yeah. So 4 and 5 respectively, and so too many cooks spoil the broth. So you compound everyone trying to make an impression, trying to impress Tim or Karen, whoever's there, with everyone trying to get airtime, and everyone having a big ego, and the graphic designers being limited with what they can tell you or say to you, and all that being overseen by assistant producers who are with you on the tasks. It's a recipe for funny TV.
Right.
Whereas in realistically, as you know, with the graphic design, you can
see it for hours.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just go Upwork or Fiverr, freelancer.com, and send a brief, get the designer to get a good impression of what you want on paper, and it takes a few iterations. But on the Apprentice, there's one iteration. There's there's one time only, and I think that's the context that doesn't make it to the screens.
So don't you think that just they're kind of deliberately dumbing everyone down to make it a fun TV? I mean, back in the days, it used to be some serious. Yeah, but now what's changed? Why have they changed it to? Because that was the whole point of Apprentice. You know, you got to learn something from them. Now it's just like you got TikTokers on there, you got Instagram business people on there. You know,
someone said the other day, about 3-4 days ago, Apprentice is Big Brother meets Love Island, and I thought, you know what, it's so true. Literally, it's like you're both on a place. In Apprentice, you're in a house. Big Brother, Love Island, you're in the house. You've got tasks in both, in all three shows. So it's true, because they do pick people who will bring most value to TV in terms of how they look, their opinions. Because the real business guys are in Silicon Valley, and they're tech geeks. They'll make terrible TV. They'll be boring, isn't it? They'll be boring, but they'll make great products.
Yeah.
They'll make great people to invest in. I would invest in them, because they'll work 24 hours a day. The coders, the software developers in Silicon Valley, the ones that made Uber and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, they're the tech geeks, but they'll make terrible TV.
True.
Because they're very awkward.
Yeah.
But so they have to have a balance. You got to have a bit of business nous in you, but at the same time, you got to be argumentative, confident. You got to be a good speaker. You got to be engaging. BBC, like most media outlets, are all about viewing figures, readership and viewership.
Yeah.
And people who argue in the boardroom.
They're not really fussed about the product then, are they?
Yeah, because think about it. You're in business, Adam's in business, I'm in business. We know £250,000 investment for 50% stake. It's actually not a lot of money. People spend that in a week on marketing.
Of course.
Honestly, I know people spend £250,000 a week on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
30, 40, 50,000 pound a day they spend. Incredible, advertising budgets. So £250,000 for 50% investment. What if your business is worth 2 or 3, 5 million pound? You're actually getting a bad deal from 250k for 50%. So it's actually not a business show, if you know what I mean. The 250k, firstly, is pocket change for Lord Sugar.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of bribe they pay you to appear on TV in that sense.
So how do you get chosen for TV? Do you have to apply for it? Or?
Yeah, so you apply for it. I think my story was a bit easy because I already had been on the BBC, so they knew I had a business already. Although it was a reformulated business, it was still the same kind of nutrition supplement business that I had on Dragon's Den.
Is that still running? Or?
No. So we stopped this date smoothies, but we reformulated our supplements into collagen based now. So we do. You mentioned knee pain, etc. So we do type 2 collagen drinks, mainly for men above 40. Yeah,
I should have told you.
We'll sell some down.
So you could have bought me a box.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we got boxes. We send out to a lot of guys, mainly men above 40. So collagen with MSM, which is great for cartilage. Because the main thing that stops a lot of men, especially if you're doing a leg day later on today, is the joint pain.
No. We are doing it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I've got jeans on.
You bought a bag, yeah. I'm sure you got shorts.
I've got my gym gear in there, definitely. But I can't keep with you guys. You guys are seasoned professionals. So you apply online.
Yeah.
You get long listed, 80,000 people. That gets 80,000 people apply. That gets whittled down to 2,000, I think. Or maybe 1,000 or 800 even. A few hundred anyway. They get invited to round 1 auditions. Round 1 auditions is many levels. So you got the first one where you pitch, say, how do I, why would I make a good business partner for Lord Sugar? Then you have to go meet the assistant producers, executive producers. Then you do a video pitch. And
just for that, you should get 250 grand.
Exactly. It's that day is
after all of that, and then you get like first week you're out.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. What? And that day, by the way, I finish around 11 p.m. Just auditions, on just the first day, you're meeting different people. You're going up in the levels, so literally going up in levels because you're on an escalator. Sorry, on an elevator. You go to level 3, meet the assistant producer. Go to level 5, you meet the executive producer. You go to level 7, you meet the series producer. You go to level 9.
You get fired there?
Yeah.
You're fired.
No,
that's it, job done. Straight back down.
Straight back down. And then you get through to the round 2. Round 2 is a group task. That's when you've got 80, 90 people from the 80,000. and then that goes to 30 people, then that goes to 25 people, and then that goes to 18 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's some serious. You have to be really good to get back down to 18 then.
18, yeah. So,
I just want to know about the other 80,000 that don't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Flip it out.
It's a lot of people that don't make it because it's been going on for many, many years. And to be honest, I was surprised at how many people apply. I didn't realize that many people apply, but that's the statistics for the last few years.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And how aware are you, like, what's going to get edited or what can you say, what you can't say, you know, because, you know, when you're in your mind, when you're in the zone, you say things, but how aware do you have to be? Shit, I can't say this. Oh, shit, I can't do that. Oh, I can't say this.
You mean in the audition or in the...
No, in the actual filming, on the actual show.
On the actual show, so...
You have to be very careful what you say. I mean, I would get kicked off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get fired. I would get kicked off.
So
and day 2.
You might have seen in week 2 when I was in the boardroom, and when I told them to get double firing. That's when I was really in my street mode. I'm like, I was really annoyed, and that's when the real Asif came out. Just, you know,
I want everyone back.
The guy from street, you know, from Sheffield. But you have to you have to always have this mask on almost that you're on national TV. You can't swear, you can't shout. Definitely can't shout. You can't be angry. You gotta bring a composed, a professional perspective to how you speak. Yeah, because cameras are on you all the time. They can pick up anything. They can pick up a joke. They can pick up the clapping. They can pick up anything. So you have to have this, and it's tiring. You go back at 11 p.m. at night, and you're so tired because you've had to have this persona. You have to keep it up. And like, I'm like you guys. You know, if someone tells me to dress smart, I'll wear a jumper or a t-shirt and a jacket. Like Adam. Yeah. I wouldn't wear a suit. A suit's not for me. I hate being tight with the neck.
Same.
I don't like it.
Weddings is max I'll wear.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. And even on weddings, I'll wear a shirt.
Yeah.
Button down. I just, you know, if you train, you've got a big neck, you don't want to, suits are,
they're
not made for you. They're not made, you know what I mean? Suits are not made for you. Yeah. Because we're used to wearing breathable Gymshark t-shirts, right? Yeah. So I hated being in a suit. I hated it. So by the time you go back home, you're stuffy, you're sweaty, you've had this thing around your neck all the day. It's literally like a noose on your neck, you know what I mean? You feel so claustrophobic. But you have to remember, you're wearing a suit and you have to be professional.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time, yeah. And that's tiring.
And how's the experience at the house? How do you guys conduct yourself? Are the cameras there as well, or
no?
That's when they leave you.
Yeah, that's when they leave you. Yeah. Cameras are there only in the mornings when you wake up.
And do you actually wake up at 4 a.m. and 20 minutes later the cars arrive?
Yeah, no. So cars arrive probably 2 or 3 hours later, maybe 2 hours later. But you got 20 minutes.
Makes sense.
But you got 20 minutes. Yeah, you've got 20 minutes or half an hour to get ready, go downstairs. But when you're downstairs, they put makeup on you, they do your hair. But you can't keep coming up and down. I was quite naughty. I would go up and down, like go up, get my mic on, have a coffee, go upstairs, brush my teeth, obviously pray namaz, and then put your aftershave on.
Put your mask on.
Put the mask on, exactly.
Mask. That's the last thing. I need to go and get my mask on.
You have to look in the mirror, take a breath, and say, "No, mask is coming on now."
That's crazy, and I was watching one of your podcast clips. You can't have your phone on you.
No phone, no watches. I love wearing watches. You know what I mean? Like I love.
That is nuts.
I'm a very accountable guy. I love to be on time. I love to.
Of course, yeah. You
like,
had it 12 o'clock today. You turned up at what, 12:15?
Exactly. I know accountability. Don't bait me out.
Sometimes it happens. Traffic.
Birmingham, right? Come on, man. I'm going to Birmingham. It's a big A junction.
Not as bad as me. I planned to come to Birmingham at 3 yesterday. I got it at
Actually,
7.
not as bad as him. I phoned him this morning. He's in Birmingham. I says, "Where are you? Let's go for a coffee." Asif's going to be a bit late. Yeah, all right. I'll be at the studio for 11 o'clock. 11:40. I'm here. All right, cool. Thank God he's made it.
Only 40 minutes.
Only 40 minutes.
But it's disorientating, isn't it, not having a watch?
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You don't know if it's Dhuhr time, Asr time. You don't know, You can see Maghrib because it's sunsets. But you can't tell. Like, you get disorientated. And it's such a human habit because, a lot of us don't necessarily wear watches on our wrist, but we've got watches, we've got clocks on our phone.
Yeah.
So, but not having a phone, not having a watch, it really messes with your mind. Honestly.
Of course, you don't know what time of the day is. If you've been up since I don't know, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, I've never had watches for years, right? And I can get the time right within like 10 minutes.
Really?
Ask me any time what time it is. I can tell you what time it is.
What time is it now?
I've always had that.
What time is it now?
1:30.
He's right.
I'm right. I'm right.
How do you do it?
I don't know. I just have
You look at the time before you ask the question. That's how you do it.
I just have a sense for time.
But no, he's right.
I'm never accurate. I'm never on time, but I still know what time it is.
I think it's true though. We've got a chronotype. It's a very good book. We talked about books before. Good book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker.
Yeah,
a very good book, right?
I read it.
And he was a Nottingham University medical student. Left, did a neuroscience degree, went to Harvard. I think he's a Scouser. He's from Liverpool, or he studied at Liverpool. And he talks about chronotype. Some people are very good at telling the time because they've got a very in sync ultradian rhythm. Everything's in sync.
I got that right, didn't I? I said by 10 minutes.
Yeah. Plus or minus 10 minutes.
Yeah.
My last question on Apprentice. If you had one, what was your business plan?
Collagen-based drinks for men above 40. Get them back in shape. Because Adam knows better than anyone. When you coach a certain subset of men, they complain. To me, the doctor, I can't go to the gym because I've got knee pain, joint pain, or shoulder pain. And collagen does help with that. It does help, repair some of the joints. And especially if you, leg day, for instance, you're doing HIIT training as well. That takes its toll on the joints.
Yeah.
So you got to replenish a lot of the stuff, wear and tear. Collagens are great. It's like some people can't have time for physio or don't have time for physio. So collagen itself is good to add to the diet. Glucosamine, chondroitin, vitamin C, vitamin D. So we've got a drink called Collagen Plus, MSM. MSM is it's an anti-inflammatory compound similar to curcumin, which is found in turmeric. Very good anti-inflammatory compound. Very good for muscle and joint repair. So that would have been the plan.
That's a solid plan. That's a solid plan. And where can we buy that drink? Is it available?
It's available, yeah. So check my website on TikTok as well. So msmrelief+.com. But the link's in my TikTok page.
Right, okay. Because I'm going to need some. My knees hurt.
Ramadan's a good time.
Ramadan, yeah, of course. Because, you're not drinking, you're not hydrating throughout the day and stuff, and you need...
And joints need lubrication, right?
Of course,
the synovial fluid is, it's a fluid. It needs liquid, it needs water, it needs hydration to lubricate the discs in the back and in the knees.
Yeah.
So it's a huge
And
aspect.
is that drink good for like tennis elbow?
Yeah, so tennis elbow is more...
golfers?
Yeah, so tennis elbow, golfer's elbow are more kind of tendinopathies. They'll respond better to kind of rest, ice, bit of physio, sometimes injections as well. This is more for long-term wear and tear. So osteoarthritis, frozen shoulder, frozen elbow, that kind of stuff. But
Frozen elbow? I've never heard of that.
Essentially when you get bursitis and you get really stiff joints.
Oh, wow.
But tennis elbow, golfer's elbow is more kind of to do with rubbing and kind of inflammation. So rest works with that. Sometimes steroid injections work with that. But compression can work, so can ice as well.
Because I get tennis elbow.
Tennis
quite
elbow's
often.
on the outside.
Yeah.
Golfers
Is
is on
it?
the inside.
Inside, yeah.
I get the inside one.
I get the inside one.
Yeah.
Is that the
Is-
golfer's elbow?
Yeah, golfers is medial epicondylitis, so right in the inside there.
No idea what
Do you
that
do a
means,
lot?
mate.
Do you do a lot of pull-ups?
That medical
Yeah,
terminology.
because
of-
tennis is from the forehand, innit? So they get
Yeah.
lateral.
Yeah.
So it's
Like,
from the
yes.
forehand. Yeah. Golfers is from the inside.
Oh, okay.
What triggers it for you?
I don't know. Just
Do you do pull-ups?
I used to, but not anymore because it hurts.
I get it from pull-ups.
Yeah.
But I first developed it when I was much younger, naive, in my early 30s or mid 30s. I was watching an Athlete Next video.
Right,
and
yeah.
he was
Jeff Cavalier.
yeah, and he was doing like
Close grip.
explosive pull-ups where you
Pulling up
pull it
and
up
then
really hard and
slowly
then
down.
grabbing it. You're falling down, you're grabbing it.
Yes.
I did that once, and after that, I got golfer's elbow. Man, I was in pain for 3 or 4 years.
It's a lot of pain.
It's a horrible pain, man.
It got really bad, and it got really bad for about 3 or 4 weeks where I couldn't even grip a pen or pencil. I couldn't write. I was typing, and it felt like a knife digging into.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
into
I
it.
couldn't. When I had it on my peak on my right arm, I couldn't lift my phone.
You can't grab things.
Really horrible. And then I just rested, and I just used to do like anything that didn't involve my upper body, basically. A lot of cardio and just legs and stuff
even
like
now, if I increase volume a lot, it comes back. But it's always with the pull-ups and it's chin-ups.
Anything that you basically
chin-ups, especially like close grip on the straight bar. But like I said, it happened because I did this, explosive one where falling down on the weight of your entire body.
Yeah, exactly. That's like 80, 90 kilograms just on that quick explosive. So
I advise against stuff like that. Controlled reps, controlled.
And that seemed to be getting back in traction now. Like, controlled, slow. Like Mike Mensa training program. Yeah, he's passed away now, but he's very big on.
I've done that for the past 2 weeks now. I've dropped the weight and I've just kind of slowed down the repetitions and controlled the weight a lot more. And I find it that I get a better pump.
You should always control the weight. Mind you, forced slowing doesn't increase stimulus. There's some studies that have been done on it. On my muscle building program, I go into it quite deep. So they did some studies. There's some books on it. Super slow resistance training, and so the big guys who are now like very very into the science based stuff. You've got people like Brad Schoenfeld, et al, and a few that Eric Helms and so many others. They've done all these studies on this, and there's numerous studies. Like if you slow it down from a 2-second eccentric to 5 second, does it increase growth? And it's shown not to. So they should be controlled rep, but it should roughly take about 2 seconds. Always concentric, always explosive. Concentric, for people who don't know the terms, it's when you're lifting the weight up. When you're lifting the weight up, it always should be explosive and quick. But when you're lowering it, it should be at least 2 seconds, because you've got it's cross bridges. Your myofibrils and they form a cross bridge, and when they form that cross bridge and they connect, there's this charge, that electrical charge that takes place. When that happens, that's where the stimulus for growth and things take place. But that's when the reps start slowing down, even without you trying, and that's when the magnitude of the stimulus is the greatest, that causes growth. However, slowing it down even further doesn't make a difference, because if you slow it down too much, what happens then is you can't lift the weight that you could normally lift. So then you're lifting a lower weight, and because you're lifting a lower weight, the mechanical tension is decreased. And ultimately, it's mechanical tension that determines how much growth is stimulated. There's three pathways to muscle growth. Mechanical tension, muscle damage, and a metabolic stress. However, the main thing that we know is mechanical tension that causes growth. Muscle damage and metabolic stress, they're byproducts of mechanical tension. Right. So, I'll stop there. But
that's a very good synopsis, man. Even I learned something today. Yeah. Because I always thought about just mechanical tension. So time under tension, right? That's what we learned. Time under tension. Yep. Eccentric, that's why eccentric is preferred. It's more, 2 or 3 seconds down as opposed to half a second up. Yeah. But that's very, metabolic stress is certainly big. So I think you're talking about a CK, creatine kinase, and myoglobin, all these kind of things.
So the lowering portion does definitely increase things. So again, muscle damage was seen to increase muscle growth, and so they thought. But muscle damage is a byproduct of mechanical tension, because there was a study done by Damas where they had to just do the concentric portion, and so the eccentric portion was kind of taken away through this machine, and they found that without muscle damage, they still had equal growth. They found that people who had a greater muscle damage, they had equal or less growth than people who never. Because what happens when you damage, think of it this way, when you're laying the foundations of a wall, you're building a wall, you're laying the foundations, you're digging the foundations. If you dig the foundation too deep, if you have equal amount of bricks, so say proteins, you have equal amount of bricks. If you dig the foundation too deep, you have to then use those bricks to build the foundation back up to ground level. Yeah. Then whatever bricks you have left over is the height of your wall.
Yeah, true.
Now, muscle damage it works in a similar way. If you create too much muscle damage, then some of the resources, proteins and various things, are used up to get you back to base level.
Yes.
Then whatever's remaining, the ideal situation for muscle growth would be you maximize stimulus and mechanical tension whilst minimizing muscle damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good. That's deep. That's a nugget right there.
That's a clip.
That's a level 3 PT course in literally 30 seconds.
Yeah. They don't actually teach you this in level 3. I had to do a lot more.
This is level 3. This is Kaan fitness. This is what you learn in the modules there.
Yeah.
we do cover it in my.
But that's very good.
Because it's a very good book by Ian Smith. Called it's called The Book of Muscle, right? It's a big like the encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
And even that, it's written in the 80s and 90s. But what you said there is based on a lot of recent research.
Yeah, mind you, the research that I'm referring to, they've only come out in the last 2 to 5 years. Some of them are as recent as 2020, 2021. So this research was done. So what Brad Schoenfeld and a few others have done, actually Brad Schoenfeld is a bodybuilder and a research scientist. So they looked at a lot of the stuff that old school bodybuilders were doing. Some of them, they said, they confirmed, so yeah, this works. Other things, they've kind of found out, okay, this is not actually accurate. And at other times, what they've done is they've looked at what they've done, but they've realized that is not the cause. That's the correlation, but that's not the cause. But then they've extracted the real cause, which is something else. So like I was saying, the 3 pathways to muscle growth, mechanical tension. So think of it this way. You've got metabolic stress that feeds into mechanical tension, that feeds into muscle damage, or muscle damage feeds into mechanical tension. Now, metabolic stress is the time under tension. And a lot of people, that was really, really big, but now we're kind of moving away from that because, yes, you've got myofibrillar hypertrophy, and then you got, what's the other one? Myofibrillar.
You got hyperplasia.
Yeah. No, hyperplasia is when the muscle splits. That hasn't, they've not managed to.
It's hypertrophy that it gets you the size, because hyperplasia is when the splits, it cell splits and it divides, but we know it's actually the size that increases.
Yeah, size. Yeah. So then there's myofibrillar where so we can't actually double or triple our muscle fibers. Whatever you're born with, you're born with. Mm-hmm. So this is why some people are genetically gifted and they get bigger muscles, because they have denser or they have greater number of muscle fibers. Right. So we can only make our muscle fibers grow. If we discover, or if anybody discovers anything where you can multiply your muscle fibers, let me know. I'm interested. Right? We can only make muscle fibers bigger. Now, in between the muscle fibers, you've got cytoplasm, right? And that's like a gooey substance. So when we do metabolic stress training, metabolic stress causes that goo to expand. So that gooey substance. So, but the thing is with that is, when you don't train for a few days, that just kind of shrinks again. And that's why you see, like when you're training and you're doing high volume, your body weight increases. You think your muscles are growing, your body weight increases, and you start to get puffier. You look bigger. But then within 3 to 5 days, when you stop training, it goes away again. Yeah. That is because that is not myofibrillar. That's the other one. The term's not coming to me, but that's the cytoplasm that has swelled, cell swelling. Sorry. Sorry, it's cell swelling, and that just decreases again. However, muscle tissue, when you actually make the myofibrils bigger, they take longer to uncouple, because they'll take about 4 to 6 weeks to start breaking down, uncoupling, and then you lose strength and size.
And also a lot of the training as well, initially when you get the gains, it's a lot of it's glycogen. We are having more pasta and rice, and it's actually getting stored as, because a 1 gram of carbs,
holds 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. So water weight and cytoplasmic swelling, etc. So you definitely, especially if you're not trained, you have massive gains in the first few weeks.
Oh yeah, because everything's just going all over the place, and you think, wow, what's happening?
The scales are increasing, and you look pumped as well, but then that stagnates. And actually, one of the biggest things, even on some of your comments as well, when you talk about how to bust a plateau, that's probably the most Google search term in fitness, right? How to get past the plateau.
Yeah.
Because we've all hit plateau, haven't we?
Yeah, it's just like, it feels like nothing's happening now. That's it.
That's it. You just hit the plateau. Like, how do I go past it? Whether
and then you start you jump on steroids after that.
Is that weight loss plateau or weight gain plateau or muscle building plateau? Which plateau?
Yes, it's always a plateau. Like either or, isn't it? So muscle building, you know, I've hit this PB. And I can't get past that bench press. The 3 plates. I want to add a bit more on. I can't do it, or deadlift, squat. And it's the weight loss as well. I've hit like top 2 abs. I can't get the bottom 4 abs. It's always some kind of plateau.
Something.
And there's a lot of guys out there that, you know, if you could solve that plateau problem, you know, they're the guys that make the most money.
Oh, they need to come to me.
I need to come to you.
100%.
I've got a
They
bit
need
of
to come to me and we'll sort the
Plateau
plateau out.
busters. Forget Ghostbusters. Plateau busters.
You know, whenever someone says to me they're stuck in a plateau, I say there's no such thing as a plateau, only a lack of knowledge.
True.
True. Because I have had clients, like, when it comes to weight loss, I mean, again, when it comes to building muscle, you're going to hit a plateau at some point because you're genetically limited.
It's a natural potential.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, like, we all got a natural potential.
Strength and muscle size, Asif. Strength and muscle size, you're going to hit a plateau at some point. But weight loss, you should be able to get to very lean. Again, getting to 4% and 5%, some people might not be able to do it because, like, again, that's a genetic thing. But getting close to abs and things like that, everybody should be able to do that. Yeah. Now, when people say to me they've hit a plateau.
Where's it gone?
That picture.
At the pin-up.
Yeah.
We need to get the pin-up. Everyone can get to this level. Can they, though?
Asif has been inspired.
It's a genuine question.
This is Asif
can we get to that?
Inspired.
Can we get to that, yes?
Yes.
Can we get to that?
I believe you can.
Yeah?
Because that's still not 4%, is it? That's still like...
That's about 7%.
Is it?
Yeah, about 7%.
Yeah, 4%. Jeff Cavalier's about 5, isn't he? 5
no,
and 6.
He says that. I doubt it.
But he's ridiculous. Yeah. This is
a healthy
6-7%.
Probably close to the.
Because you got the 8 there. You can see you literally got the 6 abs and you got the bottom ones. You got the lats coming out.
I'm looking for the striations. You see. On the chest.
I can see you can see striations there. Look there.
And it's quite nice to be analysed by 2 men.
I mean, like, I have guys who are 20 stones and they say they've hit a plateau. I was like, oh my God.
No, you hit a plate of rice, mate.
Right,
not
exactly.
plateau.
It's like try walking from the car park to the office, right? And, you know, when you get to the supermarket, just try parking just on the furthest and not inside the store, right?
Yeah.
And you'll break your plateau. Because at that weight, your body doesn't want to hold that much weight because it's not a natural weight to be.
Yeah.
See, you know, there's a thing called, you have set point. Set point theory. And yes, you know, when you hold a lot of weight for a long time, your body thinks that it's natural body weight and it tries to fight to kind of maintain that. But when you're like, even when you're 20 stones and naturally you're supposed to be 12 stones, your body is wants to get rid of that.
Yeah.
It wants to get rid of that excess weight because, again, from a homeostatic point of view, right? Your body, it knows it's not good for survival.
Yeah.
That extra weight is not good for survival. It wants to get rid of it. So if you're telling me you've hit a plateau and you're 20 stones...
If I was like that now and I come to you and say, look, I've hit a plateau,
I would accept it.
That's a good plateau. If you hit a plateau like that, that's a good plateau. Because you can't get it.
I did hit a plateau and I was just like that last bit. Freaking hell, man, this needs to go.
I'll tell you why you hit that plateau. That last bit. So that last bit though, to get 7%, that last bit would go. That's what I'm saying. That last bit, when you get below 7%.
I've been shredded. I've been more shredded than that.
Okay, so
because that's good size as well. Yeah. So that's good size. You don't look gaunt. Yeah. I know people who are 6-7% and they look gaunt.
It looks horrible. You need to fill in your clothes.
Exactly.
You know.
So here you probably had a big rice meal. You're a bit nicely filled out.
Yes,
like,
I had a lot of raisins there.
Yeah. With that, what's happened is when you hit plateaus there, what happens once you lose so much weight and you get to say 10%, whatever, your ghrelin levels increase. Your body starts producing a lot more ghrelin, so you feel a lot more hungry. Then your leptin levels decrease. And so your satiety levels, ghrelin levels control how much you eat, your appetite, right? So your appetite goes through the roof and leptin levels drop. And that controls your hunger signals. So you feel hungry all the time. All the time you're hungry and your appetite's through the roof. So that's why you're hitting a plateau. Because you're hungry and you just want to eat, and then you don't even notice that you start nibbling stuff, you start eating a little bit here, your portion sizes start to creep up, because you're hungry. You're just constantly hungry. You can't sleep at night because you're so hungry, and and then your calories start to creep up, and that's when you hit a plateau. But it's understandable at that point. But most people will be very healthy around 12 to 15% body fat.
Yeah, I think I'm about 12 to 15 right now. So, and I'm cool with that.
Can I just say this is the first time I've ever been in a takeaway where the guys phoned and asked for portion sizes, 150 grams of carbs, rice, 4 chicken strips. You know what I mean?
And you got it.
Yeah, this is meal prepping in real time.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we've got a few of them, and everywhere I've got scales. So whichever store I'm gone into, I've got my scales and whatnot. Even though I've been doing it for like nearly 7, 8 years now. But I can kind of wing it now when I'm out. I know it's a small portion. It doesn't have to be 150 gram. As long as it's less than that, I'm all right for now. Cool. As long as it's not more than that, I don't want to feel bloated. So I can kind of
pre-workout, right? 150 grams pre-workout. You've got glycogen in your calves now, in your hams,
ready
in your
to
glutes,
go,
ready to push. Some plates.
I'd say I don't do any of that. Counting, weighing. I don't do any of that.
I'm trying to come off it, to be honest with you. I'm trying to come off it because, like I said, I've been doing it for so long. I just want to kind of
you should know by
wing
now.
it now. Yeah, not wing it, but as in. Okay, this is about...
You can eyeball it.
Yeah,
eyeball it. That's about 50 grams, that's about 100.
That's it, yes.
I did that maybe 6 weeks of my life, ever. I weighed food and I counted calories for about 6 weeks, and it worked fantastic, but it's too cumbersome. And when I take on clients as well, this is what I tell them, that they don't have to do that. Because they find it too cumbersome. I recently had a guy who's a powerlifter from Australia, physiotherapist and a powerlifter, but he works in the hospital on infectious diseases. Now, he signed up because he was a powerlifter, he wanted to get stronger, and he goes, so at some point I realised that I'm just lying to myself. I'm just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm struggling to breathe, I'm struggling to move about, and it's
the only thing I can't do is lift that weight.
And in my head is, I'm just, I'm a powerlifter. Yeah. That's my identity. I'm meant to be big and strong. And no, he was quite strong. He was very strong. Like, he was lifting 4 or 5 plates, and he was strong. Like, I've seen it on his Instagram. He's very strong, but he was just flab. And he said to me, I realized I was in denial for years, but then I realized I'm just fat, and now it's affecting my health. But he goes, I tried the calorie counting, all that stuff, found it really cumbersome and tiring. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stick to it. So he joined our program because he saw another friend of his who joined our program, and he was in Umrah at the time, and you can see his video on my YouTube channel. He talks about he was in Umrah, he did istikhara and everything, and he prayed over there, if this is a good thing, Allah make it, and he goes, I think he said he had a dream or something, and he was positive, he got positive vibes, if you will. And then he signed up, alhamdulillah, he lost about 13-14 kg in 12 weeks. He's starting to look, mashallah, a lot like that. He's starting to look much nicer. His muscle definitions and things are coming out. One of the things we have is, because so many of our clients, they don't do any training, and I tend to attract that demographic. I said no exercise, nothing. So I attract everybody who doesn't want to exercise at all, ever, right? And even though I try and encourage them and get them in through that door, and then I try to slowly wean them into exercising.
You have to,
because at some point, if you want to maintain your weight loss, exercising helps. And studies have shown that exercise isn't that great for losing weight, but for maintaining weight, it's very good. And secondly, you want to be healthy, right? Exercise, even in the absence of weight loss, exercise improves your health.
Yep.
Now, and especially, to ward off atrophy, because one of the biggest killers for us, diabetes, all the metabolic syndrome, all that comes from losing muscle.
Yeah.
And I forgot the lady, she's become really famous for it online. She's written a book. Yeah, I think she's called Jen or something. She's written a book on this, The Muscle Revolution or something, I can't remember. But she talks about it a lot on podcasts and things, that we're not over fat, we're under muscled. I would kind of disagree with over fat and under muscled.
Yeah, you're both of them.
Yeah, you're both. So
skinny fat.
Yeah, skinny fat.
That video did very well, because it literally hits the nail on the head. We're skinny fat, so holding fat but no muscle. And you're right, because muscle it utilizes glucose better.
It's a reservoir. So for diabetes patients, your muscles are a reservoir for carbohydrates, and a lot of the problems people have with carbohydrate and sugar is because they don't have enough muscle mass and they're not exercising. Right, so the blood sugars are high, and it's just floating around doing nothing. But you can use carbs and even sugar for fuel if you strategically.
Raisins.
So strategically.
Natural sugar, not the white one, not the white stuff.
So we try to bring them into exercise, but some still never do. But and then they lose fat and they look slim, but they don't look in shape.
That looks horrible.
That's not.
That looks horrible.
I mean,
you just look.
You look like a runner.
Don't get
the vegan runner.
Yeah.
You know,
don't get me wrong.
You look weak.
You look weak. You don't look nice. You look weak.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they don't look skinny fat. They still look okay. But if they haven't been done any training, they look okay, and I want them to be in great shape.
Yeah,
of course.
Confident.
I mean, you're the architect, aren't you?
Just how. No,
I want them to be in great shape because, hey, I need to market myself, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's not great marketing if they just look like a string of beans.
Yeah.
so
cheese strings.
So
falling apart.
Yeah. So I want them to look in shape and feel good and confident.
Yeah.
That goes back to Adam, which is a big thing, is body recomposition, and we talked about this on our podcast. Not just weight loss, body recomposition. Recompose your body. Minimize the fat, maximize the muscle
gain.
And a lot of people, especially in the South Asian community, it's all about weight loss. The bar is set so low. I want
to
lose
put
weight.
the mic a bit closer to you?
Yeah.
Bring a bit more closer. A bit more closer.
Cool.
A bit lower.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So the bar is set so low.
Yeah.
It's literally all about losing weight.
It's either losing weight or you're well fed. You're well fed. You know, you look nice. You know, you look healthy.
Yeah.
With a massive belly, and you look good.
So
exactly.
This
Brandon, the two extremes.
So I'll tell you about Brandon, powerlifter. It's called Brandon, convert to Islam. Now, Brandon, because he was a powerlifter, he had muscle underneath.
Yeah.
And I love it when I get clients who've already been training. If they've got 2 or 3 years training, a minimum, or even longer,
makes your life easy.
I love it because when they lose the fat, they look absolutely amazing. And but people can't fathom that hang on a minute, this guy looked in 3 months. He recomposed his body so much. No, he already had like a layer of muscle underneath, quite a lot of muscle underneath, but you couldn't see it because it was covered by fat.
Yeah.
And now you strip the fat off and you can see the striations and the chest and the V shape, V taper, and it just looks like an amazing transformation.
It's like, when you see people in the gym who've got a belly and they're doing sit-ups, like what are you trying to achieve from that movement?
And if anything, that'll make the belly bigger, because if muscle underneath is going to get bigger, let's have hypertrophy,
and they'll push it out.
Push it out a bit more. Like,
I didn't realize.
If anything, so nutrition is so key. Nutrition, and what Adam says there as well. Nutrition for losing weight. That's why you talk about curries, etc. Because that's our biggest bugbear: curries and rice. Excessive amount of calories that we just eat and we don't move. But for maintaining weight, not to rebound your weight gain, it's exercise, because it goes back to NEAT and non-exercise energy expenditure, your basal metabolic rate. You want to keep that reasonably high, and you can do that by maintaining muscle, and you do maintain muscle by actually working out still. So, and that's how you change the life. It's not a 6-week, 12-week program just to lose weight, and that's a rebound. Like a lot of these diets are. A lot of these diets you see on TV, by the way, back in the 90s, there was QVC and all these shopping channels. They used to sell all these diets, Atkins and all this kind of stuff.
Slimming World,
Slim
Fast,
the best loser and all that's the biggest loser. But they go back, and in fact, I think 9 out of 10 go back to even more what they were. Because it doesn't reprogram the mind.
The Biggest Loser study is one of the ones that I refer to quite a lot, because in that they found that after some people lost the weight, some people's metabolism was suppressed a little bit, but then it's suppressed by about 500 calories. But then when they actually dug into it, they found that 400 of those calories were simply because these people were moving less.
Yes.
It wasn't to do with the basal metabolic rate dropping. It was just that the NEAT levels dropped. But there was a little bit of a metabolic adaptation. There was 100 calories that couldn't be explained for. The basal metabolic rate dropped. But as Asif was saying, on the National Register of Obesity, where they look at people who've lost 10 kg or more and kept it off, they found that majority of the people were actually, obviously lifestyles were a lot better, they were more active and they were eating healthier. However, they found that most people on average expended 2,500 calories a week through physical activity. And when they asked them as well, what was the number one physical activity that you all do? Walking came at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Swimming, walking, cycling.
It's the most
Walking
easiest and the most effective thing, walking.
Yeah.
But we kind of overthink it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, you know, I'd rather go to the gym, or I want to do this and I want to do that. They want to try and jump the ladder.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if they took just walking seriously and did half an hour walk around there, you know, around the block,
and
it makes a big difference.
A lot of people get bored and they don't know what to do with the walking. Well, now you've got podcasts you can listen to.
Yeah, exactly. A very informative one as well.
100%.
To be honest, I did do a walk. Right, I'll be honest with you now. On my own podcast, which we talk about health, fitness, and nutrition, I did kind of get bored. I did it once, to be honest with you, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go back to the gym. But that's me being in the gym for the last 8 years as well. For me, that change was like, it's too much.
I mean, every coach I see, including myself now, most of the coaches that I rate, because there's a lot of dud coaches online. In fact, my ex-client who lost 28 kg with me, pharmacist, and you can see him on my website, fantastic guy. He lost 28 kg. He's 6'7". He was 6'3". Sorry, he was 107 kg. And when he came to me, he said, "I just need to do 7 kg." He got down to 75 kg. He still never had abs, and I was shocked because I thought he'd have abs by 80 kg. He still never had abs. He still had about 3 to 5 kg to lose. So then
he said he needs to lose about 7.
Yeah, he soaked in everything that I taught him, and he was helping a lot of our clients. Now he's into all of this stuff. He watches all of these Diary of a CEO and various other things, and he keeps sending me clips and he laughs about them. So yesterday he sent me something on body types, and he's saying like mesomorph, ectomorph, endomorph, which is now defunct. So he sent me that, and he sends me a lot of these clips from coaches, PTs and stuff like that, which like so outdated and doesn't make sense. And he's always like, "Oh my God, I can't believe people are still talking about it." It's like, yeah, I'd say 80-90% of online PTs still are 10 years behind, 8 to 10 years behind on the research. But most coaches that I know now who are getting amazing transformations, they tell their clients, do weight training, do some cardio, and walk. It's not either or.
No, you have to kind of combine. You have to bring the package. You have to have a package, a bit of everything to get good results.
With my clients, I say, look, walk first, get into a habit of walking and being more active, then introduce resistance training, then if you feel like, include some cardio. But resistance training and walking simply just increasing activity levels. You're simply just not being sedentary. So you're moving away from a sedentary lifestyle. So
I've got a little walk pad at home. Does that
counts?
Does it count? Yeah, that's all right.
Counts.
I thought you had to literally walk around the block.
I think walking around the block also has the therapeutic effect of just fresh air as well. And
it does. Yeah.
Actually, speaking about Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, he had someone who wrote the book Breath, James Nestor.
Oh, I know
a good book. He's not a doctor. He's not a pulmonologist. He's not a respiratory doctor, but he knows a lot about breathing. And he says, look, just being indoors all the time, your carbon dioxide levels are much higher because you're essentially breathing in recycled air. So the effect of just fresh air on your metabolism has that knock-on effect, which a gym won't get you. Like a treadmill won't get you that.
True.
Because treadmill is dirty air, effectively, isn't it?
You're just kind of breathing the person next
whereas,
to you.
nitrous oxide, all that kind of stuff in your metabolism, because we know fresh oxygen, has a much, we talk about EPOC.
Excess post-oxygen.
Exactly. So getting fresh air is really good for that.
Yeah. I mean, I recommend 15-20 minutes in the morning every single day for everyone, Ideally, if you could get like a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. I try and do it about an hour every morning, ideally.
Really?
But in winter, I struggle. With the cold weather, the rain, everything. And
we're not made for this weather.
And this is why, I want
to be in Dubai or Morocco or somewhere.
This is why I want to move
our
out.
DNA, our DNA is not made for this weather. I agree. Because we're not made for the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah. So we struggle a lot. So I talk a lot to my clients about seasonal affective disorder, SAD.
Yes, I suffer from it.
Vitamin D goals. And it's actually a lot of research that vitamin D deficiency causes lower test levels in men.
I was going to come to that.
Testosterone drops at 25 to 33%.
Wow.
By lowered vitamin D.
Yeah.
And as men, we need test to build muscle, to focus, for cognition.
I've got a bunch of questions on test because, this whole masculinity now is kind of going backwards. So we're going to touch upon that. But as a doctor, you're into fitness, right? What has been the biggest change you made to your own fitness due to your medical knowledge?
Good question. Zero. Because medicine doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't. And Adam will tell you, doctors are the most out of shape.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So probably the grounding of what Adam says, myofibrils, actin, myosin, hypertrophy, alhamdulillah, I knew the foundations of building muscle. But the doctors don't use that. And more importantly, we don't know anything about nutrition. We don't.
Wow.
We don't. We get taught like half an hour in 5 years.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I actually wrote an article 5 years ago now, about food as medicine. Why food, nutrition should be taught as a compulsory part of the medical curriculum. Yeah. And shout out to Ali and the guys at NutriTank. They have a group of junior doctors that have they've mandated, they've lobbied the GMC, which...
Interesting.
To introduce nutrition training in medical school, because we're still counting cholesterol and all these, the eat well plate and overloading people on carbohydrates and so many outdated. You talked about outdated practices. Doctors are leaving med school very, very, inept at advising people on lifestyle medicine, nutrition. So med school kind of taught me basics of bodybuilding, and actually one of my tutors, I was in my third year, I was doing orthopedic placement in Scarborough Hospital, and one of my tutors was Dr. Nick Evans. And Dr. Nick Evans is a medical doctor he's a Welsh guy that used to work in California, UCLA in California. He came to Scarborough to work when I was a third year medical student, and he was like my mentor. So he's the world's authority on bodybuilding anatomy. You can Google him, Nick Evans. He's written books, he's a bodybuilder himself, he's an orthopedic surgeon. And he was there in my third year. So I learned a lot about bodybuilding, etc. But medicine, the whole curriculum needs a revamp. We don't speak enough about sleep. We don't speak enough about nutrition.
Is that because, I saw one of your podcast clips and you're talking about pharmaceutical companies and everything. Is that deliberate, do you reckon?
I think so. I think... Just
to sell,
we talked
sell the
about,
product.
Exactly, we talked about corporate people earlier.
Yeah,
it's like the capitalist economy is heavily contingent upon people being trained to work in 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah,
medicine, the pharmaceutical industry is heavily contingent upon doctors being lobbied to prescribe their drugs once they graduate from the conveyor belt of medicine. So medicine produces conformist doctors who are very risk averse. We love safety, we love guidelines, we love protocols. Protocols and guidelines are heavily lobbied by pharmaceutical companies. Just like in America, you got the tobacco lobby, the gambling, the drinking lobby. Ideally, these all should be banned. Yeah, because they only cause net harm. They don't cause any net good. It's all net harm. But the taxations they get from this, the VAT, etc., the government massively profits from this as well.
Yeah.
The same as the pharmaceutical industry. It massively profits from doctors being complicit in blindly prescribing medications, down the stream, as opposed to looking upstream, looking at prevention, looking at why you got to there in the first place. Why are you overweight? Why are you diabetic? Why you've got arthritis? Why have you got asthma? Why have you got all these things? Lifestyle, sleep, nutrition, exercise, get them ready. But you can't benefit from that. Exercise is free. Eating clean is free in terms of you don't have to pay, etc.
Of course, yeah.
So nobody benefits. The big companies don't benefit from you leading a clean lifestyle.
Yeah, a healthy person is no good to the pharmaceutical company.
The thing is, is that as bad in the UK as it is in the USA?
America's worse.
I understand America's really, really bad for it. There's now Netflix documentaries and stuff on it. And not that Netflix is the ultimate authority on many things, but there's been some interesting
good stuff on Netflix as well that's come out.
Interesting series on this, and there's been scandals in America. I understand in the UK it's not as bad, but in terms of what you're saying about guidelines, is that because doctors are trying to protect themselves? If they made it, they spend millions working out that perfect combination of taste, texture, everything, just to keep you.
So what's your take on sugar?
Okay, for me, sugar...
compare the normal sugar that people consume, the white sugar, what in your teas and whatnot, and the fruit sugars from fruits and stuff. What's the difference? Because technically it is still sugar.
Yeah, so white sugar is the refined sugar. Fruit sugar is naturally occurring. So if you have a mango in Pakistan or banana, whatever, in the Caribbean, that's sugar. That's in nature. Fine, have it once in a while. Okay. Yeah. The white stuff we have, the completely refined high fructose corn syrup, and the actual sugar itself. It could be the sucrose, dextrose, etc. The one we have is sucrose, essentially, the white powder. That is ultra refined. It spikes your insulin. Your pancreas can pack up after a few years. It spikes diabetes rates as well. For me, I got the white poison. We should not have any sugar.
So what about the sugar-free drinks?
Also, sweetness. Yes, they've got the side effects. They've got the addiction problems. They've got the phenylalanine and all these kind of things that can cause ADHD. But I think if you're completely addicted to sugar-free itself is probably a better alternative. It's not saying it's completely without side effects, but it's lesser of two evils. For me, if you want to have your sugar fix, once in a while, treat yourself. You can have your dates. I'm a big fan of honey sometimes as well. Yeah. Put it in the tea. Get your sugar fix. It's also sunnah to have something sweet after food, but our sweetness is just overloaded. Our sugars, we're putting in everything. It's completely damaging to our health, to our teeth, to our organs. It's causing inflammation. It's causing atherosclerosis, which is causing heart attacks as well, causing strokes. Yeah, I would stay away from white sugar. Even brown sugar, it's the same kind of profile. It's going to smack your insulin. Really? It's going to mess up your pancreas. It's going to cause type 2 diabetes. And we said it in our podcast, we're getting a pandemic now of men in their 20s and 30s who are having, who are getting type 2 diabetes. They first go to metabolic syndrome, then they get a frank type 2 diabetes.
Wow. Because my niece's husband, I think he's just in his early 20s, I think. He's just had an heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, how is that even possible? Yes. And I think he's, again, back down to bad diet.
Because inflammation is causing huge inflammation. It's causing arteries. So what is a heart attack or stroke? That is when the blood supply to either the heart or the brain stops temporarily. There's a blockage. The blockage is caused by a clot. The clot is caused by inflammation. Inflammation, the internal lining of your arteries gets inflamed and corroded over time with sugar spikes. Insulin. We know this. You should not be spiking insulin 20 times a day. It used to be once a day. You literally spike your insulin once a day. You'll have one meal a day. Then you went to 2, then you went to 3 meals a day. Now it's 20 times a day because you're snacking all the time. You're snacking.
I mean, in terms of heart attacks and stuff, right? So in the last 3 weeks, my neighbor recently passed away from a heart attack. She was 29.
Wow.
But she was really, really big. Really big, right?
Oh, it was a disaster waiting to happen.
Right. Now, she fell downstairs, had a heart attack and just passed away. She left a child behind, one child. Now, in the last 3 weeks or so, I've heard of a couple of other heart attacks, 40s and 50s, right? Now, last year, a well-known sheikh passed away from a heart attack. And everybody was saying, and I put a post out speaking about the pandemic, the dangers we're facing, and I got a bit of backlash, but some of the sheikh's friends reached out to me and said, you know what, you're 100% right, privately reached out to me, whilst others were fuming. And then some of them said to me their other friends were really fuming, and they said that they shouldn't be supporting me in that. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say anything condescending or wrong or anything like that. But the mere thing that I pointed out is that men in their 40s and 50s are having a heart attack. Sometimes it can't be prevented. Even you could be healthy.
I mean,
in the world.
See, that's where I believe that if it's written, it's written. You know, it's qadr of Allah, and it is what's going to happen. But prevention as well. Our people, like we spoke about it before. Oh, if it's going to happen, it's happened. Why should I look after my health? You know, it comes down to that as well.
You have to tie your camel.
Yeah, exactly. You have to tie your camel.
You've got to do your best and then meet your qadr. Whatever qadr is written for you, you meet that qadr.
That's it.
But you've got to do your best. And you're right. Like, we talk about this as well. Imams, they come into Adam at 20 stone. You should not be. If you can't even put your hands around, to do namaz, you can't even put your hands around your tummy. Like, come on, it's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you got to put your hands up.
In your 20s, why are you using a chair to pray?
Yeah.
Because you can't stand.
It's madness.
Now, so in the last few weeks, I've heard of a couple of people that passed away and of a heart attack, leaving behind young kids and things. And I've seen condolences being said for them and stuff. And it's like. And people say, oh, he was perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with him. He was 20 stones. He's been 20 stones for the last 2 decades, right? And every other picture he's sharing, he's eating out and he's eating junk. And, we have this, we're in complete denial.
Yeah.
We have this idea in our heads that, no, if they don't have blood markers, if they haven't got some medical profile that says, is a heart attack risk, high cholesterol, high BP, he's perfectly healthy. He's not, because again, you could have one day you could be fine, your blood markers, everything looks fine, your cholesterol, everything looks fine, and then all of a sudden you could take a nosedive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you've been overweight or you've started to age, right? Now, this is the thing in our community. I keep hearing this. Oh, he was perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with him, and he just passed away. And it's like, are we talking about the same people here? Are we talking about the same person here?
It goes back to what you said, I think off air, just before we started, about, maybe it was on air, about our community's standard for healthy is either skinny, normal soul, or just obese, well-fed, healthy. Yeah. And if you're not that obese guy, you're unhappy in your marriage, or you're unhappy with something because you're not well-fed. You should be well-fed.
Yeah.
It's such a low standard. The bar is so low.
It's in fact, it's looked down upon even in our religion. You can't, your stomach should not be more than your chest.
It shouldn't protrude, exactly.
Yeah. But for some reason now, if an imam in the mosque has a stomach that big,
God help the congregation.
Why? Like, how can you take that person seriously? Seriously.
Oh, I said that once online and I got so much heat.
Oh crap! Sorry.
I got so much heat.
All DMs go to Adam Kaan. Adam Kaan Fitness.
It wasn't even in the DMs. It's in the comments.
All his clients.
Yeah, all his clients. Yeah.
It's in the comments. You're a joke. You're an idiot. Who the hell are you? You can't be taken seriously. We should cancel you. And oh man, it was so bad. It was so bad. But then quite a few people shared it. Obviously, some people shared the sentiments. But everyone that was getting triggered, they were all probably overweight.
Exactly. That's the problem. Like, you talk about body positivity and
you're not being sensitive.
People get sensitive. Like,
and they were saying, "Oh, you're not being, you're not being."
It's a harsh reality. People in our community don't like to hear that.
Yeah. Don't want to hear it.
Just because somebody's an imam, that doesn't mean he's absolutely perfect. No one's perfect.
But I was saying earlier, this is the fattest I've been in 13 years.
Yeah, you look terrible, bro.
So and I shared
that shirt's about to pop.
I shared a picture of myself, right? And you can still just about see my four abs at the top, right?
Yeah.
And I shared a picture of myself. I said, look, I let myself go. I'm disappointed in myself. And lots of reasons, it's winter and all the rest of it.
Look,
lots
you
of
cannot be.
SAD happens.
Big time. I suffer from it big time.
You can't be shredded all the way around.
I don't need to be shredded, but I like to see a decently defined abs. Like, not absolute razor sharp, just decently defined. And when it gets past beyond that, and I showed pictures of what I meant by that, because lots of people say, no, but you look fine. Well, I can't see. And I shared pictures and I said, look, this is my ideal, but this is my limit. And I've kind of exceeded that limit.
Yeah.
Now,
see, it's good to have that because you can keep yourself in check, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Self-accountability is so important, and and this is what I'll say. I say, look, in my industry, I'm a carer. I care for the people, but who cares for the carers? You must care for yourself, and you're a coach. You coach, and
you have to,
and you have to coach yourself almost. You've got to have parameters in place because the book starts with you, and you are your own brand. So imagine they say, never trust a dentist with bad teeth. But why are we trusting doctors who are out of shape? I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't, trust him. He'll know about sickness, not about health.
True. Now, in terms of, I said this is my standard. But when I was fat for 10 years, I was still in the gym training hard. So I was fat for 10 years, and we spoke about this. I would look at other people that was so much bigger than me and say, oh, I'm okay. And that's what everybody's doing.
We were talking about that.
And everybody's doing that. They're looking at others that are 3-4 stones bigger than them. And you know, there's that saying that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. So if everybody around you is massively obese and you think, oh, I'm okay, I'm not that bad. So most guys are in denial. But also this, I said that I stopped working with I tried to minimize my work with 2 demographics. One is the imams demographic and the other is charity workers. Charity workers, because they have very difficult lifestyles in terms of traveling. They have no control over their food, timetable, sleep.
All the appeals are like till 3 in the morning, aren't they?
Yeah.
The winter, the Ramadan appeals.
Winter, but then they're flying to, they're flying to Africa, they're flying to Syria, here and there. They have no control over their food. And I've had a few, and my success rate, alhamdulillah, is really, really high. And I've mentioned it, I think, with yourself and even with NASA before, that 9 out of 10, they meet their expectations. And 1 out of 10 always goes AWOL. They just disappear, right? Yeah. But 9 out of 10 meet the expectations. 7 out of 10 exceed the expectations. At one point, I was getting a lot of the imam, not necessarily imams, but very religious crowd. And when that happened, my success rate started dropping to like 6 out of 10 and 5 out of 10. And it got me really worried. The imams and the charity worker demographic. Now, I started to ask myself, why is that? Why is it that the imams demographic, or the very religious crowd, they just don't follow the program? They don't really care. They just come and they have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I thought to myself, is it because that they are surrounded by other people that are really big? And nobody holds anybody accountable. Yeah. Instead, they say, you're all right, bro. Why do you need to lose weight?
That's a very big problem. Yes. That's a very, honesty. I'd rather be honest with someone and say, you putting a bit of timber on and sort yourself out than to just say, you look fine. Yeah. Because that could be a potential start of a disease or something.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know.
No, you're right. In 20 years' time, they have a heart attack. Yeah. And you didn't pick it up as their friend, because you as their friend should be their mirror. Yeah. And this is what they say: the believer is a mirror for the other believer.
We need to hold ourselves more accountable. Now, with myself, when I said I got fat, so like I said, when I was quite chubby, I thought I was okay. Once I got super lean, once in my life, and this is why I encourage everyone to get lean and get in shape, because you then set yourself a new standard and a new bar.
You taste the sweetness of that
sweetness.
Yes.
Standard.
100%.
It's true because
that level of confidence.
You can look at it all the time.
Everything just changes.
How good you feel. You're the spring in your step. You just feel so good about yourself.
Even if you hit it once, though. You
just need to taste it.
You need to taste it.
You need to taste it. It's better than anything.
It's better than sugar.
It's better than anything.
It's better than sugar.
Honestly, because you said, I've done it. I've achieved it. Even if it's for a photo shoot. And we've all been there. We've done that photo shoot. We've caught like madness, and we've bulked up just half an hour before. We've had the jelly beans and the Haribo's to give us a bit more. And we look sick. We look amazing.
But what happens is you mentally overcome barriers. What happens is now you think, if I could achieve that, what else could I achieve?
And that's probably the hardest thing to achieve. The hardest thing.
But then what's going to happen? You set yourself, you create a new belief system for yourself, and you set yourself a new standard. Now, when you stray too far from that, when you start straying far, you immediately pull yourself back in. And there's that saying again from the self-development world where it says, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. So if you
isn't stars more further though?
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around, isn't it? Shoot for the stars and you'll fall on the moon. Sorry guys.
I'm sure it's the other way. I'm sure I got it right.
No, you got it right.
I'm sure I double checked it today before I came. That's what. Let me start saying because I wrote a LinkedIn post about that, because everyone saw, to me, I've gone fat, I need to sort it out again, right? And everyone said, no, you're okay. And I reflected on that, and I wrote this whole post where I said, on LinkedIn, where I said, the way to stay lean forever, or stay in good shape for the rest of your life, is by setting the standard so high that even if you fall,
they're still high.
You're still
of course.
It's still better than most people's
90%.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
You're still
100%.
Above in that top 10%. Right. So that's the thing. We have to hold each other accountable, and you need to get to that point of being in good shape at least once in your life.
I've got a question here as a medic and as a fitness coach. You guys have a better understanding of health and how important fitness can be towards maintaining it, right? What one thing do you wish was more widely known by more people in fitness about health?
Okay, cool.
Because you can look great, right? You can use steroids, you can do this. There's so many assistants that you can use, but you're not healthy.
Yeah.
There's two different things. So what's that one thing people in the fitness industry need to understand about health?
Right, let Adam answer. Can I nip to the toilet? Or is it too much?
That's too much because then we have to stop everything.
Right.
How badly is it? Do you need
That's fine. I can do another. I thought if you could pause it.
half an hour?
Eh?
Can you wait half an hour?
Coffee, bro. Black coffee's gone through me.
Okay, let's do this question,
Okay.
and then we can stop, and then we can start again.
Do.
Yeah?
No, you keep it running. I'll be 30 seconds, so I just need to.
We'll stop. We'll have a little refreshment, and
Yeah.
then we can crack
The
on with
water,
it.
coffee
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah, I understand.
Makes me diarrheas. It's a medical term. No, but yeah. Yeah.
So the question, one thing about health in the fitness industry. What is that one thing that people need to know more about that should be widely available?
Okay.
Because there's so much information out there, especially with this whole new influencers and
The one thing they should know is that being super ripped, being super obsessed with what you eat, how much you eat, being obsessed with it is not healthy, right? You should be at a healthy body weight, ideally, around below 15% for men. But even if you're a little bit above that, it's okay. You can be healthy as long as you're active, you're training and stuff, as long as you're not past like the 20% mark. But on the other end of the scale, being shredded and being obsessed with being 7% body fat and staying there is very unhealthy. Mentally, is unhealthy. You develop what's called orthorexia, where you're obsessed with eating certain foods. Your libido tanks. Your relationship with your your wife is affected. Your social life is affected. So a lot of times you see influencers online, they're ripped, and all year they're ripped. Yeah. Some people who have always struggled with gaining weight, for them it's easy. For them, that's their default standard. Yeah. But for everybody else, and that's the majority of the people, staying that lean takes a massive toll and a massive sacrifice. That is the part that influencers are not saying. And also, like you said, if you're taking performance-enhancing drugs and lots of it and lots of other various things as well, that's not healthy. So we have to define what healthy is, and people should be aware of that. However, at the same time, people need to be aware of how much being healthy and in shape, exercising and good nutrition enhances your life in all aspects. People just don't know that. Otherwise, if they did, they would do what it takes to be in good shape and in good health, because it will enhance your productivity at work. It'll improve your cognitive skills. It'll enhance your relationship with your children, with your partner, and you'll just feel better about yourself. And we're inspirational and aspirational role models for everybody else.
I love that. Aspirational. We should be aspirational. So yeah, one thing I wish the health or the fitness industry knew about health: importance of sleep. I mentioned it earlier. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. And Adam mentioned it earlier as well, ghrelin, leptin. Lack of sleep causes a spike in ghrelin. Ghrelin will make you eat. And I've done it before. I've done night shifts, 3 o'clock in the morning in hospital. And I know I'm not hungry, but my ghrelin is telling me, eat. Eat sugar, eat particularly salt and carbs and fat. And what's the best? It's some Coca-Cola and a pizza at 3 in the morning. And I've been there, done that. But I knew
that sounds just perfect for a 3 a.m. meal.
And I knew I wasn't hungry because I literally eat at 9 p.m. So I wasn't hungry. It's impossible to eat a big meal full of protein and then be, a lot of salad and veg, because I used to do that before night shift, and then be hungry again at 3 a.m. So that really switched my mindset to say, look, sleep deprivation causes a fake hunger. It's not a real hunger because your stomach's not empty. Your gut is not empty. Your glycogen stores are not empty. You're not really hungry. You are pumping out ghrelin, and ghrelin's
eating it for the sake of eating.
Exactly, because your body's saying, look, this guy's up at 3 in the morning. He must be being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or a wolf or a bear or something. This his life's under imminent threat. Let's get his calories up. Let's eat and let's store fat. So that same principle, by the way, needs to be taught in the fitness industry. that we need to correct all aspects of lifestyle, particularly sleep. It's very hard to lose weight if you're not sleeping well, because the effect of ghrelin, you're always going to be hungry. You're gonna have hyperphagia, what we call in medicine hyperphagia, and excessive appetite, and that's from lack of sleep. So you're going to wake up craving carbs, sugar, biscuits, cereals, etc., because you've not slept properly. So sleeping is so important for regeneration of your body. For we talk about training, regeneration of your glycogen stores, muscle recovery. It's also important for dementia. Preventing dementia, preventing high blood pressure, preventing diabetes. Sleep is restorative. It's being absolutely diminished in today's society, which is keeping us awake. It's all about attention now. Netflix and blue light emitted from phones and tablets and laptops. Very important to get your sleep before midnight. I always say better if you've got something to do, sleep earlier and do it in the morning, because you're less likely to put on Netflix at 5 a.m. than you are at 10 p.m.
That's the top tip of today, because I suffer from that. I always tend to work at night, my editing and this, that, the other. It's always or a game of FIFA, which will be, you put it on at 11 o'clock, and then before you look at the time, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You think, oh shit, I haven't won a single game yet.
Yeah. So sleep before
I like one more game.
Yeah, exactly. So sleep before 1 a.m. So sleep before midnight. And then it's called the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Very good book. You might have come across it. Robin Sharma is ripped, he's in shape, talks about 5 a.m. Club. And we know from Islam as well, wake up for Fajr.
Yeah.
The night is there as a blanket. Allah says in the Quran, the night is, we put it as a blanket for you to sleep. Yeah. Sleep before midnight. Hold blue light. Why is Twitter and Facebook blue? They're designed to keep you awake. Blue light emitted from the phone screens is designed to suppress your melatonin and to increase your ghrelin. So you order more takeaways.
Wow.
At 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Serious. When you think about it, and you think about the amount of research that's been done, just so that the consumer can really get more takeaways, affect their health. It's just mind-boggling.
They're all in bed together.
Yeah,
they're all in bed
crazy.
Together. The industry, food industry, fast food, ultra-processed foods, social media, the big broadcasters, they all are there to get your attention, to get your health, to get your wallet.
Absolutely. How important is testosterone influence in building muscle mass and strength in men? Because nowadays the whole thing about test and another thing I want to talk about was Shilajit. This whole trend of Shilajit. Everyone's on it. What benefit does that have? Because some people don't think that it has any benefits. Right. My question before the break was, how does testosterone influence muscle mass and strength in men? Because, like I said, a lot of people are talking about Shilajit and increasing test levels, and does it actually work? Yeah. Is there some kind of solid research behind this new supplement? And of course, test. How important is test in men?
Cool. So testosterone is we call it the male hormone, although it's found in females as well, but in men it's 15 to 20 times more. It is just like you find estrogen in men as well. Okay. You find prolactin in men, but obviously it's at a much lower level. In women you get test as well, but it's much lower.
So it's the opposite.
Yeah, opposite. Yeah. Right. But testosterone in men is the hormone of virility, hormone of strength, hormone of muscle building, alongside growth hormone and alongside insulin-like growth factors, various growth hormones in the body. But testosterone is the main anabolic hormone in the human body for muscle growth as well. But more importantly, and often neglected, it's the hormone for cognition, focus, and execution. This is why men tend to be, in more senior leadership positions. It's not because we live in a sexist, patriarchal society. It's that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us 1.5 millennium ago that men are the leaders of women. Yeah. But we know biochemically why we're the leaders of women, because we have much more circulating testosterone than women do. So that makes us, it kind of prefers upon us a greater ability to execute, make difficult decisions, a greater ability to command presence, to command the room, to command respect, to be confident. So testosterone is the hormone, you could say, of performance, execution, strength, manhood, really. So more than just muscle, but also of brain power and confidence as well. Your speech as well, you know, when you go through puberty, your voice deepens, you get growth. So everything which is associated with manliness, height, width of shoulders, jawline formation, etc., hair growth.
It's a lot of it.
It's a lot of it. It's a very important hormone.
It enhances masculine qualities, isn't it? Masculinity, those kind of attributes and qualities come out.
Yeah.
And what are some of the symptoms of low test?
Okay, cool. Good question. So low testosterone can cause three things: low mood, low libido, and kind of hunger for life as well. So when I say libido, I also mean hunger for life as well, and also low muscle mass. So the way you look, difficulty building muscle, difficulty concentrating, difficulty achieving your goals and being ambitious, and difficulty, like if you're married, you know, performing in that sense.
Would you say also affects emotions, i.e. you become more sensitive, you just becoming more in touch with the feminine side?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also the opposite of that as well. So too much testosterone can make it, you know, you give you roid rage, all that kind of stuff as well. Aggressive, yeah. So you have to have
we don't mind a bit of that.
Yeah,
I think I've got too much of road rage, especially when there's.
You're from Birmingham. You're gonna have road and roid rage.
Especially
there's something in the water here, bro.
Honestly,
I saw somebody at a networking meeting and he was huge, and he's not into the fitness scene. He trains himself, but he's not into the fitness scene, and he goes to an infamous gym, right? And I was like, everyone in there is like a pro bodybuilder. So everyone, I said, bro, I'm in the fitness scene, and I look like a little kid standing next to you, right? And I said, there's something in the water in Birmingham. And then we got talking. He said, are you on anything? I said, no. Like, it's just so casual. I said, I'm looking at considering TRT now. I spoke to you, doctor, about it, and I might come and get the blood works done with yourself. But he was recommending. He was like, no, you want. He goes, look, if you want all this stuff, you want absolute expert in it, go to Transform now. Doc.
Oh yeah, Transform.
Speak to Doc. He goes, Doc's 30. He's got 25, 30 years or 35 years or something. He goes, he knows this stuff inside out. He goes, everything, every marker he will analyze and give you, your profile and what you need and stuff.
Are there any potential risks of TRT?
Yeah, there can be if you take the higher pharmaceutical doses, like the injections, but the ones that the GPs will give you tend to be gels and patches, quite low dose, just to top you up, just like HRT for women going through menopause. So you'll have the estrogen, pessaries, gels, etc. Men can have the same kind of thing, testo gel, which is very low dose. It kind of just tops you up. But some of the stuff they give in the gyms is very high dose. It's given as a weekly injection.
I'll stick with the gyms then.
It's like 0.5 meg or 1 meg in a week. It's a lot. Sometimes 3 that you're having that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they can be, and it can sometimes shut down your own gonadal system, reproductive system. Your sex hormones can go out of kilter. But a lot of guys take tests with
PCT.
Exactly. PCT, HCG, all that kind of stuff, just to balance it out.
The thing is, can it also, if your cholesterol, it can increase your cholesterol levels, right? So if you're already predisposed or prone to heart disease or something like that, does it increase the chances of that?
Absolutely, 100%. So I think if you need it, if you're going through andropause, you're in your mid-40s, you're finding it difficult to concentrate, you're finding it difficult to build muscle, then it's a real possibility you could be low in test. There's real possibility about that. So definitely get it checked, 100% do a blood test. But a lot of guys in the 20s and 30s are doing it, not knowing their test levels. And they're just going on it and high whacking doses. You can tell by their faces, that they're on it.
I've done a cycle before. Now I'm nearly in my 40s now. Started the gym scene when I was 31. 31. Hated it before. But I just don't know what my test levels were when I was, peak. So I wish I could go back and check it and see how much I've lost over the years. But anyone who asks me, I says, look, first of all, if you're 17, 18, 20, you know, you need to get your bloods done. You haven't even touched your potential yet. You know, maximize your potential, your natural test. And once you've kind of lipidoed on that, then you can think about, well, then again, do you want to take it further? Do you want to go on stage? Is it necessary you want to take it? There's loads of questions. I mean, I did a podcast with Wahid. He's my PT, and that was one of the questions, and that's what I said. He said, "Look, there's so many things that you need to consider before even getting onto a cycle.
It's a big decision."
The thing is, though, you know, a lot of young people, and we spoke about this last time. A lot of young people now have got low testosterone.
It's the food.
Food, plastics, and also, and we spoke about this in Sheffield. Like a lot of men are carrying excess
fat that's leading to estrogen production
because you're getting conversion, you're getting aromatization there, and all the tests you're building is getting converted into the female hormones, estrogen, etc., through the adipose tissue which you're holding.
I mean, you know, when I say something about being overweight online, people are hypersensitive about it.
I know.
I always think to myself, you know, is this a sign that they are low testosterone?
100%.
That they're feeling,
they're trying to defend themselves.
Because they're getting so upset. Right. That's a sign that they're very sensitive.
No, but I don't
oversensitive. More sensitive than man should be.
Man shouldn't be sensitive.
Yeah, exactly. More than being a sign of low test, it's a sign of high estrogen. No, that's what I
mean. Of course, it makes sense.
Because it's like, I've said something like very casual, like
very normal.
They're very touchy about it.
Yeah, they're very touchy, and they get really upset, and almost they're gonna cry. Like you know, it's like, that's not masculine.
Did I offend someone?
You know, if you go to I went to Macedonia. I've been like 2 or 3 times. I was going to go again in February. And all the statues are like you, Nasser. Chiseled, beard, high
You're being
test.
too kind. What do you want?
Macedonian statue.
Macedonian statues. You know the Greek.
Look, I know you haven't had lunch. You'll get lunch. You don't have to be that nice.
You know, you're the host, so you have to be extra nice. But it's true. Like you see jawline development now as well in men. Yeah. So.
Is it? I thought that was that Chinese thing that they're getting from China, and they're doing
this. Just
it's called mewing. It's called mewing. But again, it's something in the water. It is something like, you know, and I've talked about this a lot. I've spoken about this.
No, it's not in the water. It's just that we go to certain gyms, and that's all it is.
No. I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's in the water for the guys that have lower levels of tests.
Yes.
It literally is in the water. Like you're getting the oral contraceptive pill being flushed out. You're getting high levels of estrogen in the water. You're getting plastics. You're getting processed foods, and you get vegan diets. Sleep is cortisol. So sleep, if you're sleep deprived, you're higher in cortisol. Cortisol is a glucocorticoid. It's a steroid, and you're getting Cushing syndrome from excess steroid, production. Because you're always stressed. When you're stressed, you're sleep deprived. You're going to anxiety eat. You're going to stress eat. You're going to have binges. Self-soothing behavior because your dopamine is depleted. It's all a vicious cycle. Well, the whole picture basically is of a biochemical apocalypse. That's why I call it a biochemical apocalypse. Everything's off kilter. Your testosterone is tanked. Your estrogen and prolactin are massively high as a man. Your cortisol is through the roof. Your human growth hormones minimized. Your insulin-like growth factors are non-existent. So everything that makes you a man is not there. Everything that's transforming you into a woman is there. So you got the guys with gynecomastia and wide hips.
Really bad.
Men should not have that. Men should have jawlines, strong jaws, beards. Men should have, thin waists, broad shoulders, big arms, big legs. But men are getting hips now and breast tissue. Honestly, men are getting breast tissue.
Really bad. I can tell you, having worked with over 350 clients and looking at their phenotypes, bro, it's worrying. It's worrying. I said the other day, I was talking to my coach, and I said, and I made this comment after seeing one thing. I said, his before picture. I said he looks exactly like what's the word? What's the word when the breastfeeding?
Lactating.
I said it looks exactly like a lactating female's body. If you chop the head off and remove the hair, You know, a bit, a tiny bit of hair, not much. Tiny bit of hair.
Well, we can't be. We might find some hair removing as well. You never know in this day and age. You know.
I'm telling you, I'm no exaggeration. Wallahi, chop the head off, and you can tell a bit of masculine shoulders. Apart from that, wallahi, it looked like a lactating female. You know, just sagging breasts, just like quite big, right? You know, and he had a very. He wasn't just fat. He had a very
apple shape. It was a pear shape.
A very pear shape, but it was a kind of a very bloated. You know, when women get pregnant, they're not necessarily fat. Just baby. He looked like a 6 month old pregnant lactating female, 100%. I thought to myself, you know, how can you?
What I will put myself into?
You know, how can you walk around like that for years, for months and years, and not want to change it?
Yeah.
What is it about? What's happened to our men that you can walk around like that for years and it doesn't bother you?
A lack of self-respect.
And you don't want to change it.
100%.
And you know, and especially if you're married and your wife's seeing you.
You know, I was watching one of your clips and you said there was a question about something for men today. Should men go to the gym or something? And then you answered about...
What gym did Khalid bin Walid go to?
Yes, that one. What was that question?
So question was... I can't remember the question now, but the answer was, you know, again, going back to what we said, walk more, eat better, sleep better. Gyms have only been around for 50 odd years, right?
Yeah.
And they've only been commercial for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, before that, they were the reserve of the Arnis and all that kind of stuff. So, but if you go to the Amazon rainforest, you go to the jungles of Papua New Guinea, or you go to the mountains of Kashmir, the guys are in shape.
Yeah.
They don't go to the gym. They're just active in their daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to always go to the gym. Yes, if you want to compete, definitely.
Yeah,
if you want to get 100% striations, vascularity,
bicep peaks.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get
Cap
that.
shoulders.
You want to get the horseshoe triceps. Then you gotta target
that muscle.
Muscle. Of course, this is all aesthetics, by the way. But if you want a good top 10% physique, which is fit, symmetrical, proportional, well assembled, walk, run, jog, jump, eat well, sleep well, etc. You won't have a protruding stomach. And he went back to what Rasulullah, he didn't have a stomach. He was lean, you know. He didn't eat every single day 3 meals a day. He didn't eat the excessive amount of carbs that we have now.
I mean, even if we had 3 meals a day, that would be good. People are eating 24/7.
Yeah.
They eat one meal and a stupid meal.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the OMAD diet. There are a few of them.
And at 1 a.m. as well, or like really late. I know guys, like cab drivers, by the way, they're saying that they're not eating, but they are eating because they're having cappuccinos and all this kind of, so they're spiking the insulin. Your body's still thinking you're eating because you're having, you know, a lactose. Lactose is a sugar. Your body is still thinking you're eating food, but you're not eating any protein. You're having a cappuccino or a hot chocolate, you're still spiking insulin. So you're suppressing your growth hormone because insulin is a fat storage hormone. You want to minimize insulin spikes. You want to keep your blood glucose relatively controlled. We talk about homeostasis. So glucose should be homeostatic as well. You should have a good range. Let's say 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 of glucose. You don't want to drop hypo or hyper. Guys are going hyper and then they're going hypo because the insulin is overshooting. This is when they get type 2 diabetes because the pancreas packs up.
Wow.
It's just constantly firing. This is why you get 20, 30-year-olds getting type 2 diabetes. Because pancreas is fired 10,000 times. And it shouldn't do that by age 30.
I was saying last time,
crazy.
I was telling yourself, I can't remember which one of you I was saying about snacking.
Yeah.
You know, snacking all day is literally killing you.
Yes.
And when I say actually literally killing you, because again, inflammation, and I mentioned this on podcast with you, that a lot of times we blame sugar for the inflammation, insulin spikes and carbohydrates. That may be a correlation rather than a causation, because when people snack, it's normally carbohydrate foods. It's not It's not protein. It's rarely ever protein or veg or something. It's always going to be packet crisps, chocolate, sweet. So obviously sugar, carbs. Now, when people are eating all of the time, they're in a chronic state of inflammation. and we know it's not acute inflammation that causes the problem. It's a chronic inflammation. Low grade chronic inflammation is what leads to all sorts of diseases. But when you're eating all of the time and you are letting the nutrients go into your bloodstream, the sugars, with that the epithelial cells open up to let in bacteria from your gut, causing your body to get into an inflamed state. And then that leads to you gaining weight. And if you're obese, you're in a chronically inflamed state anyway. Obesity is the biggest cause of inflammation. So it's a vicious cycle. So snacking is 100% killing you. Like, you need to stop snacking, period. I am so anti-snacking. Even if if you must snack, have an apple or something. But even that, don't snack. Just have a bit. If you're gonna eat, have a proper meal. Have your your rice, your curry or whatever you're gonna have. Your balanced meal with rice, protein. Then have the fruit with it. Yeah. So it's a slightly bigger meal. So if you're satiated for longer, but then you've got a nice long break.
Yes, you got
4, 5, 6 hour break.
What about dark chocolate?
I love it. I think it's great. It's good at regulating insulin as well.
Is it? Fantastic.
It's good fat.
Because I love that.
85% or above.
Yeah.
Amazing.
90. I tried 100% once. I thought, I'm going to give it a go. 100% dark chocolate. Took a bite and I was just like, what on earth is this?
Because it's
so
bitter.
Yeah.
And also 100% dark chocolate, because I've had the 99% one from Lindt. The 100%, I think there's a company called Mozumo.
I had it from Chocolate Hotel. Is it Chocolate Hotel or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually, if you look at the macronutrients on there, there's more protein than sugar.
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's more protein than sugar. It's actually such a little sugar in there, and that's why it's bitter. But it's great because it's very bitter. It's also anything bitter is good at balancing your pH. We talk about alkalinity as well, but also you got to have acid as well in the body. So having a bit of coffee, dark chocolate as well. But also the main thing with dark chocolate, it's very anti-inflammatory. It's got the polyphenols in there. It's from a plant itself. Yeah. The coca bean is from a bean. It's from a plant. It's very good for regulating insulin.
It's a good fat as well, isn't it?
It's a good fat.
Because you need healthy fats in your diet. Yeah. And a good source of healthy fats.
So I can continue with my 90%.
Yeah, 90% is good, yeah.
I've got a bar. at home, 85%. And
it has to be above 85.
It has to be above
85 is, if I can't find my 90, then 85 is my least. Anything below that, I'm not interested.
You have to be above 85%.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it actually that much. I don't enjoy it.
I just enjoy a couple of squares.
I've got
a couple of squares I have every day.
I've got that little, you get it from Aldi. I think it's about 80 grams of it. Yeah.
Or the little bars. It's called Mossa Roth.
I tell you.
It's a German.
Yes, something like that.
I'll give you a recipe with that. Put some peanut butter in it. Make it into a sandwich.
This guy is just going to kill me, man. I only wanted a little just before bedtime. I like to have a
when you get a little square, put a tiny bit of peanut butter on top of it. It makes it.
I'm going to have that on Ramadan. Honestly, I'm going to have that on Ramadan.
I'll try it. I mean, there's no harm.
It's a very good idea. Just put a bit of it. Yeah.
Put a bit of peanut butter. Increase the fat content.
Fat,
stuff.
Protein, etc. Yeah. And that's the keto, right?
Yeah.
It's keto. Yeah. There's actually a very good book, which I both recommend you guys to read. It's called The World's Fittest Book by Ross Edgley.
Oh, I've read that.
Yeah, he's a guy from Grantham.
I usually listen to audibles.
Okay,
I get bored.
I get bored. With Ross, is a phenomenal human being. He's a machine. He's a machine. However, he's not natural.
Really?
Right? It's impossible to do what he's done naturally.
So. I don't know.
Have you seen the size of him?
He's just.
But you say that I've had few guys who are natural bodybuilders, and they're absolute monsters, and they're happy for me to take them to Transform now, get a blood test. Everything's actual. They've they've won competitions.
Ross is not normal though, man.
Yeah,
Ross is not normal.
I'll be surprised, sometimes.
Ross is swam around the entire UK. He swam the whole. He swam thingy. He's got the Guinness Book. He's got the Guinness Book of World Records for pull-ups.
He's on.
That's assistance. Rope pulls and all these
for pull-ups. Yeah. He did a triathlon with a tree, like a tree log.
He called it a triathlon.
Yeah, and he did that. He's been reviewed on YouTube by various other fit pros, and they said, look, if this guy is natural, I'll eat my heart out.
It's like Liver King.
But I'm not.
But that was obvious. That was so obvious. The reason why I mentioned Ross Edgley is because he's a big proponent of dark chocolate.
I'm not taking away from
He
it.
talks a lot about that. And with Ramadan coming as well, like dates, because did you see his fasting? He used to break the fasts. Not break the fast, but he used to have energy sources on his triathlons. He used to he used to have cocoa with dates. So he used to make these little cocoa balls with dates.
Yeah. I mean, energy balls.
Energy balls. He used to make his own.
I might make those, for Ramadan.
Yeah, I would say I'm not taking anything away from Ross because man, that guy is superhuman.
It's a mindset as well.
You can't. It's not,
yeah, so he's the guy.
Even with steroids.
Exactly, he's the guy that taught me about dark chocolate. He's the guy that says the biggest myth you've heard is chocolate is bad. In fact, it's good for you. The right chocolate, though, not milk chocolate. Yeah. The right chocolate is
Cadbury's chocolate is bad.
That's bad. That's bad. I know you're from Birmingham. It's your hometown. The Cadbury's chocolate is bad.
Sometimes you can smell it.
Yeah, exactly. But
you'll just lean towards it. No,
whereas
I can't
the actual
do it,
coca, the coca bean that makes raw cacao, and good quality chocolate is good for you. It's an antioxidant. It's a superfood.
Yeah.
So have it in abundance. And Ross Edgley was the one that said, you know what, you need to change what you've learned as people in the industry. Cacao is good for you. Have it daily. And since then, I've never not had it daily. Always had dark chocolate, just a little square daily.
Yeah.
I put it as my medicine. That's my only medicine I take.
Wow. See, all these medics, they never have paracetamols, do they?
No, for me it's vitamin D3.
Yeah, D3 is a game changer.
Yeah.
Vitamin D3. I've not been taking any multivitamins for a while.
Same.
But then there's some things coming on now, about toxicology. They're saying that they may be contaminated.
Really?
I have to research it more, but I remember seeing it.
If you read the ingredients, so they've got all these, humectants and emulsifiers in there. So D3, but also like what's better than D3 is getting sunlight in December.
I was just going to say that. What's better than getting all these supplements?
I remember
it's a trip to Morocco or Dubai.
Yeah.
I went in January.
Go for a week.
5 days.
Fantastic.
And
January in Morocco.
I went to Morocco.
I was in Morocco in January.
I went to 21st to the 26th.
I came back on the 21st.
I've never been to Morocco.
I will take you. Don't worry. We'll take you. It'll be fun.
29, 30 degrees every day.
Yeah.
Just not a single cloud as well.
Beautiful.
I came back tanned. I came back happy.
Yeah.
And it goes back to low test levels being affected by vitamin D. We get low vitamin D in the UK.
I was saying that to you earlier. I said, I'm noticing a lot of changes now that I'm 44, right? And I thought, maybe I need to go see a doctor and stuff. But every time I go away in a hot country, I come back and I feel normal again.
Yeah.
It's D3, 110%. Like we said earlier, we're not made for this temperature.
Our DNA is not made for this.
Yeah.
So, if you look at our mitochondria and all our genotype, it's not made for Northern Hemisphere, Europe. We know, and especially if you're cutting and you've got a lot of body fat, we're definitely not made for this.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's why guys in hot countries tend to be more ripped. Go to California, go to Australia, they're better shape. Because hot weather.
And they're happier.
Much happier.
I've got a last couple of questions before we wrap this up. Natural ways to boost testosterone levels.
Okay.
Any obviously naturally it takes a lot longer than kind of injectables.
I've got my little Twitter thing. I did a thread on testosterone. I also 5 S's. And all halal, by the way. These are all halal certified, no injections. 5 S's. Sunlight, steak, stress control, sleep, squats.
That's it.
5.
Steak as in the food steak. Oh,
I can add a 6th one today as well. I can add a 6th one on today.
Another steak. Can we add another steak?
Yeah, the 6th one is obviously steak, yeah.
Can we add another steak?
Another steak,
Am I the only one who doesn't eat beef?
Really?
No,
I don't eat beef. So I told you I was on this. I've just come back.
You're missing out. Even Birmingham, the home of halal steak started here.
I've just come from this holiday, in Turkey. It was an all-inclusive 5-star resort, like no other. Like next level, and you can eat as much as you want, right? Now, the restaurant there was like a 5-star Michelin restaurant, and they bought the most beautiful looking steaks, and all the guys around me were just eating them, and they're ordering one after another because they paid for it, right?
Oh wow!
And I didn't. There's
heaven on earth, man.
There's me with my chicken.
No,
why not steak?
But bro, they were getting nice. Oh man, this was cooked to perfection.
Medium rare. A bit that pink.
The first steakhouse I went to was in Birmingham. It was Ibrahim's. I don't know if it's still there.
It was in Acock Green.
Yes, yeah.
That I don't think that's there anymore.
This was
Yeah,
15
this is
years
about
ago.
15, 20 odd years ago. Yeah. I
First
remember
one.
Ibrahim.
And then Fazenda came in Brum. But Birmingham's always been the place to go for steak.
But if you fancy a steak later on today, if you're still around, obviously that excludes you. They do chicken there as well. We can go to possibly the best steak place in Birmingham.
What's it called?
It's called Grills.
Give a plug to these
Grills. I was there 2 days ago.
I've heard about them.
And I've always, for my steak in Birmingham, that's it. It is, they do Wagyu steak. They've just put it on the menu and it's absolute.
It's actual Wagyu, yeah. Not
no, it's not the stuff afterwards. Well, you wouldn't know anyway. You don't
wouldn't know.
Why don't worry about it. We're talking about.
I know.
Chicken's
I should have started when I went to Turkey. When I went to Turkey, I should have started, man, because that looked perfect.
Honestly,
nicely sliced.
Are you going to be here later on? Are you here?
I've got a pod in a bit, and then I'll be here this evening.
So let's do a dinner then. Okay. Later, wicked on me, yeah.
Sounds good.
Brilliant. Last question. Would you ever recommend medicine to the younger or the next generation? From your experience.
Okay, from my experience, I think you can make a lot more impact. You can go a lot further by not doing medicine. Medicine, you get stuck in a cell. You're a GP or a hospital doctor. You're seeing illness and sickness. You're not actually impacting health. So you can do a hell of a lot more by doing coaching, by doing online training, by doing public health, global health, etc. By actually educating people, empowering people. Medicine is very much a one-to-one basis. You see a patient, 10 minutes to go home. You can't really change
someone's life.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say probably not. Knowing the way the world's going now, going more towards prevention, more towards AI, more towards e-commerce, more towards everything being online. So definitely, if it can impact someone's mindset, you can impact their health and their finances. True. So I would say coaching, entrepreneurialism, business, etc. has a better ROI than modern day medicine. Medicine was worth it 20 years ago when I first started. Not anymore.
So you're saying technically join Kaan's University and
join Kaan's University, yes.
That was a nice plug there. That was a nice
You can save more lives going here, because if doctors are going here, then obviously,
exactly. So boys, it's been a pleasure, and we can see how all night we've had a wicked little bond, and it's been a pleasure, boys.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely we'll have another one.
We didn't touch on haram policing.
Huh?
Haram policing.
That you know what? That's part two.
Let's do part two.
Let's do a part two.
Part two on his controversial post and why he roasts people the wrong way, and why he's been censored, and
especially because right now,
because I wanted to speak about the suspension as well from the GMC, but we just don't have. We'll have definitely.
We could talk more about in the second one about politics and like in our community hatred. You get a lot of it. He gets a lot more than I do.
I thought it would be good to address that the onslaught that you got after the Cappadocia post. The onslaught.
That one. Yeah, your friend and all. We could talk about it. That's actually a good one. Our own community and how they turn on you.
Yeah,
and
so that we need to address that. And
that is the biggest problem. Our own community and the unity in our community. There's zero.
Absolutely.
See, I think it was on your post about when they suspended you off the register.
Yeah.
Why? Because the pressure from the Jewish community.
So united, bro.
They have always been united, and you know what? It's really bad for me to say, but this is the reality, that what's happening in Palestine is because we are not united. That's the bottom line. You could boycott everything you like, but if you are not united as brothers, as sisters, as a community, you got no leg to stand on. And it's a free pass. Exactly. And I say that to everyone. I says until two brothers don't have good for themselves, for each other, you can't do nothing, bro. On that note, thank you very much, guys. God bless you all in everything that you're doing. Inshallah, we'll definitely meet again, and obviously we're meeting for dinner later. So wicked. God bless you all. Thank you very much.